Welcome to Alice in Wonderland series. We are today talking about the fountain of youth. I did some research on fountain of youth. Actually, it's a mythical thing where people go into certain kinds of water and come out disease-free, and they tend to live for 100 or 120 or even more. And then also it's a lot about appearance, and they are looking shiny with beautiful skin, hair, and whole body is really very beautiful. But what really is the fountain of youth? The fountain of youth, I believe, is looking good and also feeling good. It is not just about longevity, but how do we look and feel great as we live for longer years. Now the expectancy of life has increased for both male and female. In fact, female now we are living right up to 83 or 85 and so on. But then if we are more than 60, how are we going to keep up the vigor, all the sexiness of life and enjoy life as well at the same time? A lot of people think about fixing what is already broken. I mean, in the medical field, because I'm a doctor, obviously, I feel like most people will think of when they get a disease, they will go to the doctor to correct it or do a surgery. But I've always believed that we need to prevent before we can go into the stages of disease. So the fountain of youth, I believe, is about also staying healthy. So of course we are going to be discussing many aspects of how we stay young, youthful, beautiful, energetic and virile as well. But let me first of all introduce our guest of honor today. It's my pleasure to introduce Datin Harveen Kaur, who's a friend of mine, of course. I hope I can say that, Datin.
Yes.
She is the 2017 champion and winner of the Mrs Malaysia World pageant, and currently she is the director for the Malaysian Mrs Malaysia World pageants, and I believe she's also been an honored invited VIP guest for many other beauty pageants as well. Not only that, I'm very proud to say that Datin Harveen used to be a scrub nurse in the surgical theatre, so someone very close to my heart. But she has now become a public figure because she has got herself involved in so many things to make the public, Malaysian public and Malaysian girls especially, to give the correct ideas to them as to how they make themselves better. And so she has a lot of social causes she's involved in, other than being a successful wife and a mother of 3 children. And I think I know her children, I've met her children, so she does not look like the mother of those 3 children, definitely. So it's my honor to introduce Datin Harveen Kaur. So how are you, Datin, today?
I'm fine, feeling great. Thank you so much for having me here today.
There's no one else I would rather have on this show than you. Okay. When my team came up with this topic, I said I needed to have Datin Harveen Kaur. So we have a lot of things to talk about and explore and dig about each other. I hope you won't mind. Sometimes we need to be extremely candid as well.
Exactly.
So to start the ball rolling, I'm going to ask my esteemed guest, Datin Harveen Kaur, how she keeps herself beautiful. Of course, we'll go into a lot of details later, but I'm going to ask her just to introduce what she thinks is the fountain of youth. So what is the fountain of youth, Datin?
It's aging gracefully, regardless of age.
And then, of course, being successful and doing all the things despite whatever age.
Yes.
And I think you also said that we need to have our principles and not go far from it,
Correct.
even though we have grown older, right?
At the end of the day, it's all about commitment, discipline and confidence.
Very well said. Okay, Datin, what is the secret of your youthfulness and your beauty?
I think it's my intermittent fasting.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I think you look even better than we worked together on the
Yes.
2019 Mrs Malaysia World, and you seem to have, despite the MCO, you seem to have even slimmed down and look better now. So you are doing intermittent fasting.
Yes.
Then other than that,
Other than that, it's
I'm sure there are a lot of
Other than that, it's plenty of water, lots of vegetables, lots of fruit juicing, and exercise, endorphins.
Oh, okay. So what kind of exercises do you do?
I do a lot of running, of course on my treadmill. I also do some very light Pilates for my back and my core. That's about it. But it is done in a very consistent manner.
Okay. But how do you balance your work, because you are the national director
Correct.
for the Mrs Malaysia World, even though this year you may not have something going on, but you still need to work up for the next year. So how do you shuffle your schedule and looking after your 3 children and still keep to those healthy habits that you just mentioned?
I start my day very early. I get up at about 5 a.m. do some light meditation, and then I start preparing my children's breakfast, my husband's breakfast, because I always ensure that they must start off the day with a very healthy breakfast. So these only can be done by me, the lady of the house. So I make sure that is done first, send them to school, and then I come back, shower. Before I shower, I do my running, of course, 20 minutes, and I shower, and it's just on and on. What is important is basic consistent steps every day.
Yes, I agree.
Then it becomes a practice.
Yeah, I'm 60 years old. This
You look like somebody.
this year it's a big turning point, and I thought at 40 my life was kind of, getting older, but then I became more severe about my own discipline. So before that, maybe you exercise when you want to, you kind of eat what you like, and then you would just do whatever, But now, after the 40 years until 60 now, I've kind of made sure that I'm very strict on what I do on a daily basis, because nothing ever happens unless we move, and the movement comes from the head, where you need to start disciplining yourself. You can say discipline or you can say conditioning, but you need to start putting everything in the head. Despite however busy we are, if we have a routine, then we'll get everything done. And women, we can multitask so well, right? So we can always do a lot of things. So like getting up in the morning at the right time, like yourself, I will also spend about 15 minutes on my prayers, and I want to put some emphasis on my spirituality, and then another 15 minutes on meditating and positively saying what I want to do today, which will be good for myself and also for others. And then I will do definitely about an hour and a half of exercise. I couldn't live without it. It's kind of become addictive, like you rightfully said, is the endorphins. But I find that I couldn't do repetitive things every day. So what I do now is I do a lot of mix and match. So if I do a cardio exercise today, tomorrow I'll do weight training, and then the following day I'll do Pilates, and then the following day I would do, because I don't enjoy the treadmill, so I will do some dancing. I'm learning Kathak dancing now, which is so exciting to me, because I've done a lot of Indian classical styles, and then I wanted to learn Kathak, because I also believe that when you focus and concentrate on something, you kind of forget other things, and that's already like a meditation, because your mind is not continuously thinking about your own problems. You're not thinking about your own circle of issues that you're facing in your work or in your family. Your mind is completely off that for that 2 hours, and because of that, that already becomes very, very good meditation, where your mind is off the troubles. At the same time, you're exercising your body, keeping your brain smart, because when you learn new things is when your brain will start to function well. If we are doing the same things, I believe that after a while we get into a rut and we do the same thing. So I'm trying to vary and do a lot of different things. And of course, I always tell everybody I know, when they say, how do you manage with such a busy schedule? I always tell people that it doesn't take a lot of time to plan. So in a day we plan what we are going to have for breakfast, what we are going to have for lunch or dinner, and that kind of already puts the positive motivation. So if you come across something that is unhealthy, your mind will automatically say no, because you already have in your mind what you want to eat. So that is so important for the planning, not just for ourselves, for our family, and also it puts us in the right path. We are all role models, right? You are, and I hope I still am. I have been a role model for many years now. So there is an onus on us to keep ourselves good as well. There's a social responsibility as well. In keeping ourselves good, we are putting positive motivation to a lot of other people. But that does not mean I know everything. I do not. That's why I still keep learning and changing a lot of things that goes on. And food-wise, I couldn't do intermittent fasting. I couldn't, basically because of the work. After the exercise, I'm normally need to pick me up before I come to work, because I'm on my feet doing my surgeries or procedures, so I need to have that energy. But I do make sure that I don't eat too unhealthy. But there are cheat days, guys. Once a week we cheat for short periods of time. It's actually scientifically proven to be very, very healthy to have cheat days and times, so we still don't lose out on the pleasures of eating whatever we like. If I like an ice cream, if I like a chocolate, I'll eat it, won't you?
Of course. Age is just a number. So you can feel fantastic at the age of 20, you can feel wonderful at the age of 40, but you must feel fabulous at it.
Yes, yeah, it is. I think most people will start to think, I'm already this age, so I have to give up. I think in Malaysia, around Southeast Asia generally, I think, but more so in Malaysia, there's a lot of taboo about how when a woman wants to do things for herself, there's a taboo. People are shy to talk about it. People always do it like very quiet. Like I start new latest procedures, and there are people in the rest of the world who start later than me. Say for example in Europe, I'm a trainer in the European College of Cosmetic Medicine and Surgery, and a lot of ideas come from me. I'm heading the regenerative medicine division as well. So we are big into stem cells and anti-aging. And I introduce something new and I teach some doctors, and they are flying within a few years. Whereas here we have to go slower. It's because nobody wants to share. Nobody wants to go out and talk about it. What do you think of this taboo, Datin?
I think it's no more fitting into glass slippers. It's all about breaking glass ceilings. Because I always tell my doctor and even my boys, it's all about gender equality.
Well said. Yeah. I don't know why some women would feel shy to say, I do constructive, good things for myself. It's not a miracle I end up looking this way. There has been certain additional things I needed to do for my diet. I needed to do some special, changes in my exercise routine, or I even needed to, with age, there are certain problems that creep up. So we then need to do certain things too. If we feel it is not something positive for ourselves, then maybe we need to do something about it. If a few wrinkles or a sagging of the face doesn't bother you, then it doesn't bother you, fine and good. But if it does bother you, then it becomes a negative thing, and that will spoil the way you age, because you have that thing about yourself and then you feel helpless because you can't correct it. But I think successful people, like many of my patients, they are very successful in what they do. Is because they are go-getters, and if something bothers them, they are willing to do something about it. Many people ask me, what is your secret of remaining youthful? You look young for your years. Many people ask me. Always tell them, doing the right thing at the right time. So sometimes we leave things for too long because we have these taboos attached, and lots of taboos for different races. There's taboos like, how much should a woman spend on herself? it's nobody else's business, right? But the woman's. Do you agree, Datin? But there are taboos, and then we are not breaking the glass ceiling. We are just lying low and going with the flow. So, in doing so, some women I have seen, they have not come out as winners because they have been afraid of the social taboos. They are afraid of what their neighbor may say, or what their family may say, or even their sisters may say sometimes. Yeah, it is sad. So I hope that Malaysian women can look at successful people like Datin Harveen Kaur and learn to look after ourselves in the right way.
So, Doctor, what is your definition of anti-aging, and what is your advice to all the new aesthetic doctors out there?
Very difficult question. Okay. I believe anti-aging starts when you're pretty young, number one. A lot of people, I'm sure you heard, they say, I will wait till everything goes south before I start to do things for myself.
It'll be too late.
It'll be too late. So it's already fixing what you already have broken. I believe in prevention, so I would suggest that most people, when they stop growing, that's at the ages of 21 or so, maybe after 25 they will actually start to age. But people don't realize that. They think they're still very young. They will think that they are, even in their 30s, they are still thinking they are very young and everything is perfect. Yes, if you're feeling perfect and everything, you look great, then it's great. But I feel that the things start to go south. For example, hormones is one important thing. Hormones, for your information, is the chemical messengers that will work between your genes, which you inherit from your father and mother, and then it will convert to our specific cells, and has a large part to play in how we think, what we feel, how stressed out we become, how we gain weight or lose weight, how we develop disorders and diseases, even mental depression or anxiety. It's all coming from the cellular processes that is influenced by hormones. So we normally suggest to people, at least in their early 30s, to do a basic hormone testing. I believe knowledge is key, so people need to know something about themselves. If there's nothing wrong, then basically it's lifestyle advice and maybe some nutrition or the way they eat. We can do some value-added consultations on that. And then the other thing I firmly believe is stem cell. I wish I had the regeneration medicine department for the European College, okay? And for me, there's no anti-aging if we don't look after ourselves. And as we grow older, say 40 and above, I hope that every person, if they can afford it, once a year they will do some sort of a cellular therapy. That will really help to anti-age. Basically because where our cells have started to age, we are replenishing the cells. The organs are starting to go down. Like many people get sluggish in their liver. Then they started to get pigmentations, they started to gain weight, they have dark circles, they have full odor when they talk, we call it halitosis. So all this can happen because their cells are starting to go down. So basically just by replenishing the cells. And now science is so advanced, and we pioneered, and for the last 15 years we've been using a lot of autologous stem cell technologies. So many people want to be very business savvy, especially you're asking about new cosmetic doctors. They always want to just do things that will make them a quick buck, I believe. So they stop short where they can just do a simple PR. But I want to tell you, PRP is not stem cells. There's zero stem cells. But the whole community now in Malaysia and even worldwide is confused because there are doctors who are telling them, you are getting stem cell when you do a PRP. But there is zero stem cells in PRP. Yes, there is some growth factors and all that, which is not bad, but it doesn't do what a stem cell can do. Okay, the other things I believe is in correct nutrition, so we do a lot of IV nutritional therapy, but if we are suggesting intravenous nutrition, like vitamins, we normally would need to do a proper investigation. Just like hormone, we would not, I'm not God, I'm a scientific person. I need to know you. I can guess certain things, but if I don't do a proper investigative process for you, it's like shooting in the dark, I believe. I'm guessing, and then you would not like it if you don't get the correct result, right? So a lot of people will say, can't you skip the investigation and straight go to doing a treatment for me? I would suggest that is not the right way, especially if you want to do a proper intravenous treatments. And of course, the other thing we believe a lot is in detoxification. We have a lot of toxins going in. Now we know, even with our haircare products, with our deodorants, with our lipsticks, we call them the kiss of death, right? All of this has a lot of chemicals, and we are exposed to it whether we like it or not. How organic can we go? So we need to remove the toxins from the body, so good things we eat can take hold on us, vitamins we take can take hold on us, and so on. So we run a lot of different detoxifications as well. So I think my advice to new doctors would be to still be a doctor and not be a business person first. You can be a business person, but you need to remember that being a doctor is something about the rest of the business. You cannot behave like a normal business person out there. And now we were talking before the show, we were talking about how a lot of non-doctors are opening all this. Yeah, beauticians are opening cosmetic centers. Or there are business people who open cosmetic centers and they employ some doctors to work. But what happens in this scenario is the doctors are forced to do what the business person tells them to do. It mustn't be the other way. When we are treating a human being, there are few things we take an oath. In the Hippocrates oath, we say you're a nurse before, so you would know. So we would say we will help all human beings to the best of our ability, and we'll also say first do no harm. Means we are not going to do anything that is harmful. That means cannot just take somebody's money and tell them it's a stem cell and inject the PRP. We have to be upfront. So this is what we do here in the team. It's not to say we don't offer PRP, we do. So, but we are very clear about what we are offering. But if you want stem cell, it's a different level, and then you can always prepare yourself for it. If someone comes in and they're not prepared to spend any money on a stem cell, and even if they need the stem cell urgently, we are not going to hoodwink them by saying, oh, we'll do a PRP, it will work the same way as stem cell, which is what is happening in the market. So I try to be very upfront, and I try to be a doctor first. I always remind myself, I cannot do anything harmful. So that is the reason I'm not direct competition with many of the new aesthetic doctors. Because the way they do business is pushing the cost down to just get people to come in. So you look at all the Instagrams out there of so-called popular centers, you find that they are pushing the price down. Nobody is doing any service by just pushing the price down because they are not using the correct products. This is common sense, So I think these can be fads sometimes, and people will realize after a while that they are actually being cheated by these cheap prices. People realize that. But it will take some time, and then you've already done a non-doctor-like thing, which won't sit well in my conscience.
So it's all about being ethical.
Yeah, ethics comes first. Yeah. Ethical comes first, and you as a human being, if you wanted to make tons of money, the first thing you need to do is don't become a doctor. Because being a doctor is a lot of hard work. I'm 60 years now, till now I have to work, all the days of the week, and I have to work from morning till late evening. It's a life of sacrifice, first of all. And number two, yes, we can get benefits. We are not asking doctors to stay poor, but it's by hard work. It's not by hoodwinking people and making quick bucks. I strongly believe in this. And I always tell doctors that I teach, I say be a doctor first. Do not be a technician. Do not be a business person.
Very well said.
So Datin, yes. You had the Mrs Malaysia World pageant, right? And I've worked with you last year, and I found that your concept of how you do the show is very unique. and it is going towards the timelessness of beauty as well. So can you explain more about this pageant and what's your idea and what you're trying to do for the community with your pageant?
So I was the Mrs Malaysia World winner year 2017, and I represented Malaysia for Johannesburg in December 2017. When I came back, I was offered the license to handle the Mrs Malaysia World pageant. So of course I accepted, having zero knowledge in business, but I still accepted and I challenged myself.
Way to go!
So this is my third year being the official national director for Mrs Malaysia World. So last year, me and my husband, we opened up a company, Mrs Malaysia World Sendirian Berhad. So he is the current CEO of the company and I am the managing director of the company, Mrs Malaysia World Sendirian Berhad. And our president is the late Mr. David Mamen. We have World pageant, which is Mrs World pageant. So Mrs Malaysia World is the only official preliminary to Mrs World's first and oldest beauty pageant, started in 1984 for married women, successful married women.
So the idea you're trying to tell the community is that when you get married and when you have children, your life doesn't stop there.
Marriage should not be a barrier for a woman to accomplish her goals and mission. She should not stop. In fact, she should strive to be better and to prove who she is. Your mind is the only limit, not anyone else telling you, you can't do this, you can't do that. We are in the 21st century. There's nothing you can stop, or there's nothing that you cannot do. Do not worry about people telling you can't do this, you can't do that. Hang them.
I do applaud the Mrs Malaysia World, because when you approached me last year to participate, I was very thrilled because I have done a lot of beauty pageants before. I've been the judge, I've been sponsors, I've done workshops, but I always worked with all the young, pretty girls, so it was fun, no doubt. But I was excited about the Mrs Malaysia World because they are a bit more mature women, and I felt that there was a lot I could impart to them and learn from them at the same time. Because from what I saw, each and every woman there had undergone so many hurdles, and on top of that, they have still tried to uphold their own, image of being successful, not just in their looks and their figure, but also in their career and how they don't give up on themselves. And I felt that this was a good platform for me as well, and I saw that many of the women that you chose were not under a strict guideline, they were not like cyborgs, not everyone had the typical body image or face image or things like that. So how do you choose? What is your criteria for how you choose these winners who come out in the final show?
As long as you are married or have been married, we do accept single mom. I mean, why not?
Why not? Yes,
And in fact, they have got more stories to share.
Yes.
And we want to know their stories. These ladies, they must be able to come out of their comfort zone and to share with us their stories. It is their stories that we want to know. How they are able to make a difference in their community and later spread their wings to a bigger global perspective. So this is what we want to know. We are not interested to know your age, your race, your size or your height. We want to know your stories and the way how you embrace your flaws.
It's a very good idea to do more shows like this, because Asians generally, the mothers even, they kind of tell their daughters that, oh, you're already married and you have a child, now you can let go of everything, and then that's a bad thing, because it affects the woman's own self-esteem, her confidence, and women have so much to contribute to the society. And so they lose that hold on society just because they're not encouraged to look after themselves well. So if we are losing chunks of this, good women who can contribute so many things by keeping up their self-esteem, and then they can feed the good habits to their children, and that's something that goes on because children always learn from what they see and not what is told to them, right?
Yes.
We can preach to our children, they are not going to listen to us, but eventually one day or other they will remember what the mom did or the daddy did, and then they are going to follow it as a life example. So creating this kind of women full of self-confidence and esteem and giving them a boost, to come out and portray, I think is a great idea. So what's your thought on body image? Because there is this things that I always notice, that certain type of body forms is not accepted in certain...
Not in our pageant. We just want you to be you, be yourself, and be beautiful.
That is
We actually want you to get out of your comfort zone and further challenge yourself to be able to take that golden walk on the stage, regardless of your size or your age.
But what was the swimsuit not in this pageant? There's no swimsuit round, right? From what
We
I
had
noticed.
swimming suit in 2017, but of course it was indoors. So last year we did not have because of the time frame. So
okay.
but this year we are not doing any pageant. We are bringing it forward to next year, and we have got about we are looking at about 37 to 40 ladies, all working, and all of them are financially independent. I'm so happy.
Wonderful. Congratulations and all the best on
Different
that.
various backgrounds. So winning the crown should not be the ulterior goal when
No,
you join a
should
beauty
not.
pageant. It is the journey of sisterhood. Even if you don't win the crown, it's okay. It will open up more doors for you. Trust me.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Because when somebody sees somebody who is so out there, willing to showcase everything and willing to work hard to reach or trying to get better in wherever they lack to go up there, that's already a crown. And that is what I told many of the finalists that time. I said, you guys should feel proud to have been at the final stage, because it doesn't matter, you're all winners, right? So Datin, I've been watching or going through a lot of your posts on the social media. I kind of also very interested in all your recipes. You've been posting. Wow, you are so hardworking, huh? How do you come up with these things?
I love cooking and I love new innovation,
Okay.
especially in the kitchen. Why not?
Yes.
Using all the healthy ingredients around. So I just mix and match and change a little bit here and there. I'm very particular about oil also.
Yes, the good oils
Yes.
help us a lot,
Yes.
and the bad oils can take away the good health. That's why I always tell everybody we have to limit eating out because we have no choice when we eat out. We can't choose the kind of oil or the chemicals that go into it. So you're a great fan of kullu, is it?
Yes.
Osgram.
Osram lentil.
Wow. So did
I
you
think
have
it,
to
it has got the highest protein level, I think, isn't it?
protein and also a lot of fiber as well? Yeah. No wonder the horses always look very beautiful. So now we are starting. But I think in Indian cultures, people used kullu a lot actually. They actually ate it, and that is why the current, because we have changed our eating habits. So we've all become very diabetic prone and overweight and so on. Whereas those days people were a lot of farmers and farming and a lot of manual work as well. And then they ate healthy. In that they did a bit of intermittent fasting, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Because sometimes they wouldn't eat in the morning and then they go to work and then they eat something like kullu for the lunch, But talking about social media, being somebody who's a mature lady, does it kind of help you, especially when you run all your pageantry stuff, or is it something that you find is too intrusive? Because I'm a older generation, guys. I didn't grow up with social media, and I'm only familiar like for the last 10 years, and I'm still not as open on social media as I would want to be, because you're not used to exposing to that extent. But what do you think?
I think social media has got its own pros and cons now. So it's all about balancing.
So you would not put out everything, right?
If you see my Instagram, my account name is Harveen Kaur. It's quite open. I'm quite an open person because of the background, the way I was brought up. So my mother was very open with me, and I didn't have any problem. But I'm very strict with my daughter. That I cannot help it. Yes. So I still control her social media. I'm slowly learning how to be more open with her.
It's a great platform to keep connections with a lot of people and to give out all your ideas, your thoughts, what you're doing. But you're right, because when it comes to very young people, maybe they would not know what they are exposed
They are
to.
so vulnerable,
Yeah, so they need to have some parental guidance there.
Yes.
Let's talk about fashion. It's one of my favorite topics, I love fashion. I do work closely with a lot of fashion brands as well. But I'm not a person who believes that you should fit into fashion. What do you think? I feel that fashion should fit you.
Exactly. You should be very comfortable with what you are wearing. There's no point mimicking somebody or copying someone when you are not comfortable with yourself.
Yes.
So you just have to be yourself. That's
Rightly said.
The basic knowledge of fashion is being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah, that's right. People say what flatters the figure most, or what brand do you like? I've been asked on a lot of interviews, what suits you, what is your fashion idea? I say nothing flatters your figure most as your figure. You need to first of all have a nice figure within what gave you. At the same time, I'm not a person who thinks that being bigger than size 0 is wrong. I don't think so, because if it's your genes, your body is made that way, that's how you will be. But then we want to keep the healthy part of it in our minds. We should not instill in our younger generation things like anorexia and bulimia just because sometimes even parents, we tell our children to fit into that particular image. So if it's a very vulnerable child, they can end up becoming anorexic or bulimic or have a lot of wrong eating habits as well. So there's a lot of shaming in how it looks. So I believe that good fashion should fit the person's body. For myself, I will not wear anything, even if it is top fashion for that particular period. I will not wear anything for that whole season if it doesn't flatter me. I refuse to. It can be the most fashionable thing owned by this model or that actress. It doesn't flatter me, so I will not do it. I believe that now the fashion brands have come up a bit more and they are doing clothes not just to fit, good stand, they have become a bit more, but I feel in Asia it's still very limited. Because generally they always think that Asians all tend to be like a stick and without a figure. So I find it hard for myself sometimes. So a lot of times they have those clothes that fit the Asian body or even the Middle Eastern body, which has got nice curves and is slightly bigger, than the typical Asian size. But to me, I need to ask and push for it, because I will not wear what they bring here. I will say I want what I want. Yeah, I'm like that, because why should I wear something if it doesn't flatter me? It may be the in thing today. We were talking about street fashion. What do you think of it? Not for me either. Congratulations. Because I feel it may be very fashionable, but it doesn't bring out the best points for a woman, somebody like me. I feel like that, So maybe if it's a very young person, it may suit them. So to a large extent, fashion industry has to gradually build themselves up to also suit the slightly more mature women as well, I believe. What do you think?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So Datin, I think we've spoken about a lot of different interesting topics and we're almost coming to the end of the show. But in conclusion, is there anything you would like to highlight, maybe about yourself to the women out there or even men out there who are, getting mature, and also about your pageantry, if you have any motives or goals?
I think pageantry should focus more on advocacy. So to all my finalists who are planning to join us, please work harder on your advocacy, as we will be looking on this, what you have done for the past 5 years or even 10 years. It is not what you are doing now or during the pageantry phase. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. And for me, what I would like to say is every woman out there, whether they are involved in pageant or not, if you are getting mature and you feel like there are certain things that's affecting you and you need to change it, forget about all the social taboos. Go out and do it, like for example us, we have prices that can fit every pocket, but we will never take away the quality of the treatments that we do, because I believe that we are dealing with human beings and we are not dealing with machines to be giving them China made parts or something like that. So everything we do is original, so you need to trust in somebody and have someone who can go hand in hand with you to achieve your goals. So for your medical and beauty needs, I'm here, and if you have social obligations, you should join Datin Harveen Kaur's pageant so that you can bring your social obligations out there in the open. And remember, all of us women, sisterhood is so important. Sharing, networking, being with each other, talking with each other like what we are doing today. All of this is important because by standing together, we get stronger. Okay, this is a quote that we have prepared from our team at the center, and it says here, to Datin Harveen Kaur, the secret, Alice, is to surround yourself with people who make your heart smile. It's then, only then, that you will find Wonderland. This is a quote from Alice in Wonderland, of course, and this is from Dr. Alice Ageless Medispa.
Thank you so much.
And it's a small token of appreciation. You're a very healthy lady, I know. So we hope, and it's also, you're a very pretty lady. So with the flowers, gift of flowers and fruits, I hope, we
thank you
are
so
thanking
much
you in a small way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi guys, thanks for watching this video, one of the episodes on the Alice in Wonderland show. I hope to come to you again with similar shows, and please watch out for them. And don't forget to like, comment, and also to subscribe. And remember that a diamond is so perfect and it is also valuable is because it's a rough stone that has been cut and polished to perfection. So stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy always.